Hey everybody, it's Luke here. I know you don't really get to see me behind the camera too often, but hey, it's me. In celebration of 5 years of making YouTube videos, I'm gonna break this video down into 5 segments. First being my top 5 favorite videos. Second being 5 fun facts about me. 5 things about how much my life has changed since doing YouTube. What does the future hold? And just a general thank you. So let's start with my favorite videos of mine. Starting at number 5, I'm going to put Southern Pacific 4449's Pride of America video. Now, those of you who remember my old YouTube channel being 4294 Productions, a lot of you may remember that video from when it first came out back in May of 2021. Now, I will probably do a behind the scenes about that video at some point, but to make it short for this video, I basically started work on that project way back in late 2020, and I got in touch with Zane Williams, aka Train Guy 4501, and I asked him if he would like to be part of this project for Pride of America. And he said yes, and writing got underway. We both contributed to writing the project. And after a lot of revisions to the video, we finally got the project finished, and I uploaded it a few days before May 20th arrived, and I uploaded it on May 20th, 2021. And when I first published the video, I was just checking to see how it was performing. And before long, I noticed that the video started exploding as it was getting a lot more views than I was normally used to. And I was getting so many comments, and I'd never gotten it before, and it was crazy. But the reason why it's at number 5 is just because when you look back on the video, while it's not bad by any means, it's just not up to par with what I make now. A lot of you may notice some of the factual mistakes in my video, and you also might notice the narration just being a little off. I sounded a little more robotic back then. It's at number 5, but it's still a very proud video of mine, and I'm glad that it took several months to make, because then the ultimate finished product was so worth it. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to actually put Siana. This video was something that I had been thinking about for a long time, and I am local to Roaring Camp. I actually work there as well. So when I made this video, it was really a compilation of my best camera shots of the Siana engine at Roaring Camp. But the reason why it's on here is because the video was a big turning point into my camera work. I'm still working on it to this day. But if you notice in that video, my shots got a lot less shaky and a lot less boring, and they more had better panning, and some shots were better positioned than others. But for me, it was a learning experience, and it's still a pretty good video of mine. I have a new camera now, a Canon M50 Mark II, and I hope to make better videos with it in the future. Now for number 3 on my list, I'm actually gonna put my Railroad Horror Stories, The Gurdon Light. This one was a lot of fun to make because I had never really written my own version of a railroad legend. To back up for a second, the previous stories that I had, such as the San Antonio Bus Children and the Mako Swinging Light, those stories were done with already existing stories. I had a lot of help to try and make this sound as scary as possible, and the final product, at least in my opinion, looked pretty good. It definitely was also a big learning experience for me. So I hope to continue to adapt these Railroad Horror Stories whenever Halloween comes around. And I also hope that I get to do more of them when October does roll around, because I really do enjoy making those. Now at number 2, I'm actually going to say it's Union Pacific 618, the crown jewel of Utah. This one you may remember because it was a big turning point from an editorial perspective of my channel. A lot of you may remember that I had never changed the editing format of my Steam Locomotive Profile series. The format was kind of bare bones, but it got the job done. It wasn't sloppy editing, it just wasn't distinctive. However, when I released Union Pacific 618, Crown Jewel of Utah, that video for me was another big turning point in the sense that I finally decided to change the format and try things a different way. It was definitely a learning experience as well to learn how to manage this new style, but the end product to me was really satisfying, as also 618 is one of my favorite engines, so covering this engine's story was really fascinating, and I also had some help making that video. And for number 1, I'm gonna put my 30-day miracle story. This one was a no-brainer for me, but being able to work with Ross Roland and Thunderbolt 1000 Siren Productions on making this video was such a treat, and I had never heard of this story before I started researching it in depth, and it was so fascinating to see all those stories online and in person, and then interviewing Roland and learning about everything else that wasn't publicly available. And the end product to me is probably my best edited video that I've ever done. For me, that project is the one that if someone asked me, show me your best YouTube video, that would be my pick to show people. It came out so well, I really enjoyed that video, and that's why I put it at number 1. Okay, so let's move on to 5 fun facts about me. Where to begin? Oh boy. So number 5 about me, and some of you may have seen this before, but I have a fairly large collection of model trains. Now I primarily have HO scale, but O gauge is right up there, it's very close, but I have more HO scale trains than I do O gauge. And when we lived at our old house, we had a basement downstairs, and it was also near a wine cellar, which is why if you look at my old videos, you can see some red paint on the walls. And if you look close enough, you might actually see some of the wine bottles that are in the background. But yeah, I had the layout right in the basement next to the wine cellar on a big table that we painted green. And I had that as my layout for a long time until we finally moved house, and we're in this one now. Number 4 is that I'm actually a pretty big sports fan. Unless you know me personally, I follow quite a bit of sports. I'm a football and a baseball fan, and since I'm a Bay Area kid, I follow the San Francisco Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. When I was younger, I used to name most teams' starting lineup. So for the San Francisco Giants, for example, if you were to ask me between 2014 and 2019, I could give you their starting lineup without a mistake. And if you named another random team, then I could also name it too. Same sort of goes for football, but I more like the history aspect, and as a Niners fan, there's a lot of legendary moments that have come from that team. Yeah, but I'm a big sports fan. Number 3 is that I have a dog, and her name is Rosie, and she was from Fresno Labrador Rescue. Now, in addition to having a dog, our family loves dogs. We've had another dog when I was younger, and her name was Hula, but we've had labs since I was young. We've had 2, and I love my dog. She's amazing, and life with her is amazing. Number 2 on the list is that my favorite model train that I have in my collection, an O-gauge Lionel Line 737 Berkshire engine, I actually got at a train show in Mountain View back in 2019. So right before I started my YouTube channel and uploaded my first video, I actually went to a train show in Mountain View. And at the very end, we were just walking around just making sure that we didn't miss anything, and that engine was for sale for $80. And I checked the regular pricing of this engine, and it normally goes for $650. So with a little negotiating with my mom, I was able to spend a little more than what she wanted, and I got the engine for a really good bargain. That's how I got my favorite engine, an $80 bargain, and to this day, it's still probably the best bargain I've ever gotten. Number 1, though, is that the name for my YouTube channel that you all know it now, Train Guru, came by accident. When I was thinking of a new name for my channel, it was very train-oriented, but it would only be expressions or names that rail fans would understand. Of those names being Short Stack and Rail Rhino and Spike and Steam. Now those names just didn't really mesh because they didn't appeal to a wider audience of people. And a lot of people close to me were insistent that it must represent a wider range of people. When I was talking to my parents about it one day, they said, "Well, Luke, you're the train guru, you know a lot about trains." And I was like, that's it! And thus the name Train Guru was born, and I changed my channel name on June 1st to Train Guru, and I've had it as that ever since. Now, how much has my life changed since making YouTube videos? Well, the short answer is quite a bit, but I'll elaborate. My life has changed a lot from making YouTube videos, from meeting people, thousands of miles away and getting recognized out in public from making videos. As some of you may remember, I worked on the No One Measure D campaign in my county, and sometimes I do get recognized as the guy who made the No One Measure D video. It's crazy, and it's incredibly humbling too to see how much my videos have made an impact on people, as I've received emails and comments about people that want to help narrate my videos or that are inspired to make videos because of me. And it's really crazy to think that this all started in 2019 when I was filming Trains in a Basement and I was in 7th grade in middle school. And it all just started from there, and slowly but surely I stuck to course and I kept going. And here I am now with over 4,500 subscribers, and 5 years later from me making YouTube videos, and it's nuts. And I really can't thank you guys so much for it, because the fact that so many of you have stuck with me over all this time is nuts, and I really can't thank you guys enough for it. Now, as for the future though, there are some things that are going to change. For one, I'm going off to college. I'll be all the way over in Wisconsin going to college, and I'll be graduating from high school in May, and a lot will be changing. In the summer, I'll be working, and I'll be going around places before going off to college. But even though I'll be 2,000 miles away for college, I'll never stop making YouTube videos. I enjoy making YouTube videos way too much to just stop. And to meet all of my viewers and subscribers through all these years has been the most rewarding experience of my life. And I really do appreciate how much everyone here has stuck with me, even though there have been a few times where the channel has gone a little silent. But I'll never stop making YouTube videos. If I have to resort to recording audio in a library at my university, then I'll do that, because it means that I can still make great content for you guys. Now, before I wrap this up, thank you so much for all of you who have stuck with me for all these years. And before I go, here are some words from friends of mine who I've met over the years making YouTube videos.
Happy anniversary, Luke. Your content is amazing and quite informative. It has especially improved in the past couple of years or so. I first heard of you in your Union Pacific 618 documentary, and I gotta say that is quite a good impression on anyone. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Happy 5-year anniversary, Train Guru, or Luke. I love your videos. My favorite of yours has to be your 1225 documentary. I mean, that was like the first big documentary about the 1225, which is my favorite steam locomotive. I absolutely love that video. That's actually the way I found your channel, and I love 1225. It's my favorite steam locomotive. I've chased it multiple times, and I love it. I love your videos. Here's to 5 more years or even a decade more of great video content.
And happy 5 years. Thanks for sticking around, and let's have another good 5 years.